So we got some really interesting news for you guys, including the possibility of Burning Crusade coming to World of Warcraft Classic. The Brotherhood of Steel is finally coming to Fallout 76, and Genshin Impact updates its Resin system. Hello everyone, my name is Solomon SK for Coffee and RPGs, where we cover the latest news trends and updates for the MMO and RPG gaming genre. We do have a lot of articles to cover, so if you guys got your cup ready with your beverage of choice, let's go over these news together. Cheers to you guys.
Consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification right next to it. Thank you.
So let's go ahead and start out this episode with a few articles from PCGamer.com, and like I said before, the Brotherhood of Steel is coming to Fallout 76. Their return will be in the form of the Steel Dawn update later this year. No particular date has been established yet, but definitely be on a lookout for a more specific date. But really quick, if you didn't know already, the Brotherhood of Steel actually got retconned this time around because the area in which Fallout 76 takes place is in the year 2105, if I'm not mistaken. But the Brotherhood of Steel didn't come out of their California bunkers until around the year 2150. In my opinion, not a huge deal, but I really hope Bethesda doesn't make a habit about retconning, especially a beloved franchise as Fallout, but in any event, there you have it. And in their next article, it says here that Zelter is a survival game that looks like Stardew Valley meets The Walking Dead, and I have to admit, that description is pretty accurate. And as always, I have the trailer playing right now, and it is a charming little sort of pixel art sort of game that I'm very curious in, but it does have a lot of RPG elements, including being able to craft weapons, reinforcing your defensive fortifications, scavenging for supplies, and rescuing friendly NPCs. There's also the fact that you also have to kill hordes of zombies coming your way, and so definitely be prepared when you do so. I will have a link to their Steam page down in the pinned comment section below if you are curious, but unfortunately it's sitting at a mixed review right now, but at the end of the day, I still really would like to try this game out. And in their next article, Genshin Impact changes its troublesome resin system, but not everyone is happy about it. So many of you may already know about this already because of the fact that Genshin Impact is such a popular game right now. But all in all, it does go on to say that the short version is that if you want to do cool endgame stuff, you have to have lots of resin, and Genshin Impact really doesn't give you a whole lot. You only get one resin every 8 minutes, and even then the capacity is only at 120. But in the upcoming 1.1 update, they are reducing the amount of original resin required to complete the weekly Battle Pass challenge from 1,600 down to 1,200, and increasing the amount that players can accumulate and store from 120 to 160. But even then, a whole lot of players don't seem to really be pleased with that, but at the end of the day, it's still an improvement, but we'll see if they make more changes in 1.2 and 1.3. And really quick, in non-RPG news, I thought this was something that would be worth mentioning. Watch Mortal Kombat 11's Rambo get first blood. And yes, Rambo is a playable character in Mortal Kombat 11, but unlike the Terminator, you actually do get Sylvester Stallone's voice work for his particular character. Next, let's head on over to GamesRadar.com, and in more non-RPG news, really quick, it goes on to say here that Black Ops Cold War Beta was most downloaded in the series history. And I only mentioned this just to kind of give you an idea, a pulse on the things to come, and it seems like Black Ops Cold War is going to be a very popular Call of Duty entry this year around. Don't worry everyone, I still plan on keeping this channel as an RPG YouTube channel, but I'll give this one a pass too, just because we are talking about Assassin's Creed at the end of the day, and it does say that Assassin's Creed Valhalla teams up with Vinland Saga for a manga crossover. So if you're into manga, or however you want to pronounce it, and you're into Assassin's Creed, I will have to admit that screenshot right there looks pretty awesome, and I'm kind of looking forward to it myself actually, now that I see it. Next, let's go ahead and cover some of the articles from MassivelyOP.com, and the first one here says that World of Warcraft might be getting ready to test Burning Crusade Classic. But be warned though, take this with a grain of salt because it hasn't been officially confirmed or anything like that. Now for the actual potential evidence for this claim, the article here does continue on to say that now we have signs of even more movement on this front, as Wowhead is reporting that the studio has relisted the classic beta client in its app catalog. Quote, currently it has outdated information and is marked as depreciated, but this could mean that Blizzard is preparing to use it for Classic the Burning Crusade beta testing, end quote. Take that for what you will, but at the end of the day, World of Warcraft Classic definitely gave Blizzard a boost and turned out to be a huge success in popularity and financially. So this actually might be the next logical step. And in their next article, it says that Conan Exiles offers apologies for the state of the Xbox One version and assurances of more focus to fix it. Now, the studio has implemented more work and resources and personnel to help resolve this issue, but if you didn't know already, it goes on to say that out-of-memory system crashes and error messages stating files have been corrupted has started cropping up with the update 41 in August. And unfortunately, these issues has not been resolved yet. Now, generally, when MMOs suffer problems for a very prolonged period of time, compensation is generally something that these studios will hand out. As to what the actual compensations will be, I actually have no idea, but definitely expect something once this resolved issue is finalized. And in their next article, it does state that TERA Console teases crossplay for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, and the PlayStation 5. But unfortunately, you'll see that the PC has been left out on that list. So, you know what? I don't even care. I'm just kidding, everyone. I actually do care. But to those of you who do play TERA online on the consoles, I think this is wonderful news. But yeah, I really do wish PC was on that list. And in other MMO problems, we got a lot of problems this week for some reason. I don't know why. It goes on to say that ArenaNet confirms that work on improving Guild Wars 2 latency is still ongoing. But according to a post last Friday, they still haven't resolved the issues. They're trying different things out and doing some, I guess, diagnostics and some testing and updating and whatnot, but they're just asking you guys to stay patient if you actually do play this game, so hang in there, guys. And in their next article, it says here that Avorion will introduce black markets, docking, and hacking with the Black Market DLC on November 2nd. I may have covered this game once or twice before, but you know, after about almost 200 videos and a year later, I can't really remember, unfortunately, but it does really look like an interesting game. Matter of fact, it starts out as saying, do you guys and gals remember Avorion? It's a space sandbox released back in March 9th that describes itself as a procedural co-op space sandbox where players can build their own spaceships out of the dynamically scalable blocks, or in other words, space Legos. And as always, I have the trailer playing right now, and admittedly, it looks pretty interesting if you're into that sort of stuff. It seems like a game where you could sink hours upon hours into making your ships alone, but at the end of the day, it might be something that I will look into. And speaking about other sandbox RPGs out there, we have another one here from MMORPG.com that says Dual Universe players host an Aerospace Expo event with over 700 ships showcased. Now, Dual Universe is another RPG here, or space RPG rather, that also has very similar styles in that you could actually build and create your own ships and whatnot through a process that's very similar to the previous game that we talked about, because both of these games are very voxel based, and so the possibilities are almost endless. But what's really cool about this particular article and this event is that it was completely player driven. So imagine that you're going to a car meet or some sort of classic car showcase, and people are exchanging money for cars and old 50s Camaros and whatnot, but in this case you got spaceships that you could actually sell to other players. Matter of fact, many of the 700 ships were sold, resulting in about 1 billion Quanta, which is the name given for the in-game currency. And really quick, I know we have a lot of Ashes of Creation fans out there, myself included, and it does go on to say that Ashes of Creation announces its next live stream, which will take place on Friday, October 30th at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. They will select 10 questions at random, and if you want to submit a question, definitely head on to their forums to submit your questions and suggestions. And lastly, we have here, again, I told you earlier, there has been a lot of problems this week for various MMOs out there, and it goes on to say that market woes plague Lord of the Rings Online since War of the Three Peaks. And in their official post that they have on Twitter, they go on to say that we are currently investigating an issue with Lord of the Rings Online market purchases not delivering. Once our work is complete, we expect these purchases to begin being delivered. We will keep you updated. And again, as of recording of this video, it still hasn't been resolved, as much of the issues that we have on the other games, they haven't been resolved either. I don't know, maybe it's an October thing, but... And that concludes today's episode of MMO and RPG Updates. I really do appreciate it if you made it with me so far, and if you feel as though I have earned your subscription, please consider hitting the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification icon right next to it. Now that we are nearing November, I hope you guys stay warm. Please stay safe, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.